The View studio was a vibrant cauldron of daytime TV energy, its colorful set and raucous audience pulsing with anticipation as the iconic theme music faded, ushering in a high-profile segment under the glaring studio lights. Reba McEntire, the fiery red-headed queen of country, strode onto the stage with her signature charm, her sequined blazer catching the light as she waved to cheers, there to promote her new sitcom Happy's Place and her latest album. The air crackled with potential for drama, given Whoopi Goldberg's reputation for sharp-tongued commentary and Reba's history of standing her ground, as seen in her 2017 guest co-host stint where she held her own with the panel. Whoopi, seated at the moderator's table with Joy Behar and Sunny Hostin, kicked things off. "Reba, welcome back. You're a country legend. But with all this talk about aging stars, so don't you think it's time to pass the torch?" The audience murmured, and Reba's smile tightened, sensing a jab. "Whoopi, I'm still burning bright and my fans aren't asking for a torch," she replied, her Oklahoma drawl laced with steel. The crowd chuckled, but Whoopi leaned forward, her voice teasing yet pointed. "Burning? Reba, your music's classic, but some say it's stuck in the A90s, too traditional for today's vibe." The question echoed unverified 2025 YouTube claims of a clash, and Reba's eyebrows arched. "Traditional, Whoopi, my music's timeless and unlike some talk shows chasing clicks," she fired back, her tone playful but cutting. The audience gasped, catching the barb, and Whoopi's eyes narrowed. "Clicks? Reba, you're the one selling nostalgia. Don't act surprised when we ask if you're still relevant." The studio buzzed, and Joy tried to pivot. "Reba, your sitcom's a hit, tell us about it." But Reba wasn't letting go. "No, Joy, let's talk why Whoopi's framing me as some has-been." The crowd roared, split between those who loved Reba's fire and those who cheered Whoopi's edge. Whoopi, unfazed, grinned. "Has-been? I'm just saying, Reba, your world's all rhinestones and ranchessa. Maybe it's not for everyone." Reba's jaw clenched, her voice rising. "Not for everyone? I've sold 75 million records because fans connect and not because I chase trends like your Hot Topics." The audience cheered, some clapping for Reba's legacy, others murmuring at Whoopi's boldness. The producers, watching from the control room, exchanged frantic glances. This was veering off the daytime script, mirroring debunked 2025 claims of a $50 million lawsuit. Whoopi tried to pivot. "Let's talk Happy's Place, yeah, it's fun." But Reba cut her off. "No, Whoopi, you called me just a singer, let's address that." The crowd gasped, and Whoopi's face flushed, her voice sharp. "Just a singer? Reba, I'm asking what viewers think. Don't get defensive." Reba's eyes locked on hers. "Defensive? You're dismissing my legacy, Whoopi, and I'm not here for it." The stage was a powder keg, the audience fueling the fire, as cameras zoomed in on Reba's steely gaze and Whoopi's raised eyebrow, priming the scene for a heated argument that would spark headlines, though no verified 2025 clash occurred. As The View returned from a commercial break, the studio was a pressure cooker, the audience buzzing with excitement after the fiery opening exchange between Reba McEntire and Whoopi Goldberg. The set's bright lights felt almost mocking against the simmering tension, as Whoopi tried to reset with her trademark wit. "Welcome back, folks. Reba McEntire's here, and we're having a lively chat." But Reba, seated with her arms crossed, wasn't in the mood for pleasantries, her eyes fixed on Whoopi. "Lively? Whoopi, you've got more to say about my career, let's hear it," she said, her drawl dripping with challenge. The crowd gasped, and Whoopi leaned forward, her smile strained but playful. "Reba, I'm just curious, your music's all about heartbreak and small towns. Don't you worry it's a beat a broken bar out of touch with today's issues?" The question doubled down on her earlier jab, echoing unverified 2025 YouTube rumors of a confrontation, and Reba's jaw tightened. "Out of touch? Whoopi, my songs speak to real people, not elitist talk show hosts," she fired back, her tone cutting through the applause. The audience erupted, some cheering Reba's grit, others murmuring at her barb. Whoopi, unfazed, raised an eyebrow. "Elitist? Reba, you're giving us this wholesome country act. Don't act surprised when we ask if it's still relevant." The jab was pointed, and Reba's voice rose. "Relevant? I'm filling arenas, Whoopi, and unlike your ratings chasing sound bites, the crowd roared, and Sunny tried to intervene. Reba, your fans love you, let's talk the sitcom. But Reba waved her off. No, Sunny, I'm tired of Whoopi painting me as some relic for her segment. The accusation landed like a punch, and Whoopi's grin faltered, her tone sharpening. Relic, Reba, I'm just doing my job asking questions. You're the one getting defensive. The audience was in a frenzy, some chanting Reba, while others clapped for Whoopi's edge. Reba leaned forward, her voice booming. Defensive? You're implying I'm faking my authenticity, Whoopi, like I'm some caricature? The crowd gasped, and Whoopi's face reddened, her voice trembling with frustration. Caricature? Reba, I'm your fan, but you're acting like I'm attacking your whole life. Reba's eyes narrowed, her tone icy. You are attacking me, Whoopi, turning my legacy into a punchline. I thought this was a conversation, but wrong. The studio was chaos, the audience on its feet, as the producers signaled frantically for the band to play. The music started, but it couldn't drown out the drama. Whoopi, her hands gesturing, fired back. Wrong? Reba, you're making this personal, acting like I'm the enemy. This is The View. Reba stood, her hands on her hips. The View? You're using me for drama, Whoopi, and I'm not here for it. The crowd roared, and Whoopi stood too, her voice booming. Drama? Reba, you chose the spotlight. Don't cry foul when I ask real questions. The audience gasped, and the cameras stayed locked on the two, capturing every moment of the escalating feud. Reba's face contorted with fury. Real questions? You're throwing shade to look clever, Whoopi. I'm done. The producers, now in full panic, signaled for security, but the stage was a powder keg, and the fuse was burning fast. Despite no verified 2025 clash occurring, the View studio was a battlefield, the air thick with the heat of the escalating clash between Reba McEntire and Whoopi Goldberg, the audience on the edge of their seats as the verbal duel reached a fever pitch. Reba, now standing, loomed over the set, her sequined blazer catching the lights as she pointed at Whoopi. You think you're slick, Whoopi, turning my career into your talk show circus, but I'm not your punchline. The crowd roared, split between those who admired Reba's fire and those who lived for Whoopi's wit. Whoopi, standing to match her, her voice sharp. Punchline, Reba, you're serving up this country queen image. Don't act shocked when I ask about it. The jab was brutal, echoing unverified 2025 claims of Whoopi dismissing Reba as just a singer, and Reba's voice boomed. Ask? You're accusing me of being irrelevant, Whoopi, when I'm just staying true. The audience gasped, and the band tried to play a light riff, but the noise was drowned out by the crowd's cheers. Whoopi, her eyes glinting, fired back. True? Reba, your world's a throwback. Don't blame me for calling it out. The crowd gasped, and Reba's face reddened, her voice trembling with fury. Throwback? I've built an empire because fans feel it, Whoopi, and I'm still standing. The insult was a direct hit, and Whoopi's smile vanished, her tone icy. Standing? You chose the spotlight. Reba, don't cry foul when I do my job. The studio was chaos, the audience on its feet, as Joy tried to regain control. Reba, her fists clenched, snapped. Your job? You're twisting my legacy into clickbait, Whoopi, and I'm sick of it. The crowd roared, some chanting Reba, while others shouted Whoopi. As the tension skyrocketed, Whoopi, her hands on her hips, shot back. Clickbait. You gave us the script with your rhinestone empire. Reba, don't get mad when I read it. Reba's voice rose to a shout. Read it? You're attacking my integrity, Whoopi, like I'm some washed-up act. The audience gasped, and Whoopi's eyes narrowed, her voice booming. Washed up? I'm holding you accountable, Reba. Something your fans let you dodge. The jab was a low blow, and Reba took a step closer, her voice a low growl. Accountable? You're just chasing views, Whoopi, and I'm not your prop. The crowd was in a frenzy, sensing the climax, as Whoopi fired back. Prop? This is The View. Reba, if you can't handle the heat, there's the door. Reba's eyes flashed with fury, her voice a shout. Heat? You went too far, Whoopi. She slammed her hand on the table, the sound echoing through the studio, and turned toward the wings, her heels clicking against the floor. The audience roared, some cheering her exit, others booing Whoopi's audacity. As security moved in, unsure whether to follow, the cameras stayed locked on Reba, capturing the moment that would dominate headlines. Though no verified 2025 appearance by McEntire involved such a clash, the producers, in full panic mode, signaled for the band to play, but the music couldn't drown out the chaos of the showdown. As Reba paused at the edge of the stage, turning back with a steely gaze, "I'm not just a singer," the crowd erupted, her 7-word retort landing like a mic drop, though fact checks confirmed it as fictional. As Reba McEntire's silhouette vanished into the wings of the View studio, the set descended into pandemonium, the audience's cheers and boos merging into a deafening roar that reverberated through the brightly lit space. Whoopi Goldberg stood behind the table, her face a mix of shock and defiance, as the band played a frantic riff to cover the awkward silence. "Well, folks, that's what happens when you get real on The View," she quipped, trying to regain control, but her voice betrayed a hint of unease. The crowd laughed, but the tension lingered, some chanting Reba in solidarity, others applauding Whoopi's boldness. Backstage, the producers were in a frenzy, their headsets crackling with urgent orders as they debated whether to cut to a pre-taped segment or let Whoopi ride out the storm. The cameras, still rolling, caught Whoopi adjusting her glasses, her smirk returning as she addressed the chaos. "All right, y'all, Reba's passionate, and we love Fana, let's give her a hand." The crowd complied, but it was half-hearted, the room still reeling from the drama. Social media was already ablaze, with clips of the confrontation going viral, fans and critics dissecting every word, every gesture. Some praised Reba for standing up to Whoopi's perceived shade, calling her walk-off and 7-word retort, "I'm not just a singer," a bold stand against media mockery, while others accused her of overreacting, unable to handle the heat of daytime TV. As seen in ex-posts about celebrity sensitivity, the narrative was spiraling, just as Reba had warned, her words about being twisted into a caricature proving prophetic. Though no verified 2025 clash occurred, Whoopi, sensing the moment slipping, tried to pivot. "Let's talk about Reba's show, it's got heart." But the audience wasn't ready to move on, their energy still tied to the clash. Backstage, Reba was whisked away by her team, the paparazzi already swarming the studio exits, hungry for a soundbite. The producers, now in damage control mode, cued a pre-taped clip, but the crowd wasn't buying it. They wanted more of the raw, unfiltered chaos they'd just witnessed. Whoopi, ever the professional, powered through, joking with joy and sunny about the next topic, but her usual wit felt strained. The internet was merciless, with hashtags like #Reba vs Whoopi and #View Showdown trending within minutes, alongside memes of Reba's table slam and Whoopi's stunned blink. The confrontation had tapped into a larger cultural nerve: a country icon versus talk show titan, authenticity versus scrutiny, legacy versus headlines. For Reba, it was a stand against being reduced to a punchline, a moment of defiance that would fuel her narrative of resilience. For Whoopi, it was another day in the View trenches, where her bold style sometimes pushed guests to the edge. As the show wrapped, Whoopi signed off with a wry smile, "Thanks for watching, folks. Come back tomorrow or maybe we'll keep everyone on set." The crowd laughed, but the moment belonged to Reba's explosion, a shocking exit that would dominate headlines for weeks, despite being unsubstantiated by evidence.